thought I'd explain the reason for this trip. We thought long and hard about doing it. I mean, going on a so-called staycation in the middle of a pandemic, some people might think that's not a sensible thing to do. And we thought long and hard about it. In fact, there were going to be 4 of us in 2 cars. We thought we'd keep it down to 2 people in 1 car, mainly because the restrictions are tightened since we planned the trip. We decided to go ahead with it because, given that Petrolheads Welcome is all about getting people out in their cars, using them rather than garage queens locked away that nobody ever sees. And let's face it, when it comes to classic and sports cars, people want to see them out there. They always start conversations, as you'll probably know from your own experience. So that's one thing, and perhaps more importantly currently, is there are lots of hotels, B&Bs, self-catering accommodations that, like many businesses around the UK and indeed around the world, are really struggling during this pandemic. So if people like us cancel, even though the law allows us to go, then that just makes the financial burden even harder for those people. So providing we stay safe, we've got our masks, we've got our hand wash, we've got our NHS app. We're going to sit in the bubble that is our car. We're going to make some notes on the way. We're going to interview hopefully some of the people that we'll meet at the venues we're planning to stay and visit. And we'll come back to you with an update. So we're in an Aston Martin DB9 GT. It's a car we've had for 3.5 years, done about 15,000 miles in that time, so we know the car pretty well. You may also be familiar with it from a piece that JM on Cars did on YouTube a short while ago. He drove the car and made his comments. In the main, I pretty much agree with most of what he said. Inevitably, you can't agree on everything. An example being, I find the seats quite comfortable, but we're all different, of course. Got a few hours to drive before we get to the Lake District, so the driving is going to be pretty boring between here and there. Just sit back, relax, let this thing do its own thing, concentrate of course, maybe listen to some music, and we'll see you when we get there. Here we are, the end of our first day's travelling. We're at the Fat Lamb Inn in Cumbria. It's run by Paul Bonsall, who's a major petrolhead. We'll meet him tomorrow hopefully. In the meantime, have a look at this scenery. Well, as you can see, despite my appearance as a bank robber, I'm actually here as a visitor rather than to rob the place. This is the Lakeland Motor Museum, and we'll have a look around. The museum here is one of those treasure trove type places that you can spend an hour or all day in if you wish, helped of course by a cafe on site. Also on site in a separate building is the Sir Malcolm and Donald Campbell Bluebird exhibition, which is well worth at least an hour of your time. Of course, a minor victim of the pandemic is that there was nobody available to chat to us on camera. Usually there's a marketing or a PR person that can wheel out, but today the staff were busy behind the counter and I think they were the only people working on site. Of course, in the scheme of things, that's a minor inconvenience to say the least. I've got with me Paul Bonsall, who runs the Fat Lamb. If I'm a bit muffled, it's because I've got a mask on under the new regime, but thankfully it's not about me, what I say, it's what Paul says. So, Paul, tell me, why is the Fat Lamb such a magnet for petrolheads?
Yeah, well, we've got a really good location here. We're set up, well, in the north of England, but we're away from any of the really big centres of population. The roads around this part of the world are superb for driving, they're very quiet. and we've got some really good roads that go over the high fell tops up into the Pennines, etc. It makes it an ideal place for a visiting car club to come and stay with us, and we plan the routes for them, take them out on some of these really good driving roads. They can enjoy the cars, and then they return back to the Fat Lamb, and we hope that they enjoy the food, and normally they do.
But of course we're living in not exactly ideal times, COVID doing its thing and restricting all our movements and so on. I just want to know from you what impact that's had on your business and how you've coped.
Well, quite a severe impact, as you can imagine. We had, at the start of this year, going into this summer, we had 26 car clubs booked with us, and almost all of those car clubs had to cancel. Hopefully, if the COVID situation is resolved as we go into next summer, we should see those returning. But it's left us very, very quiet this year, obviously. We were shut for 3 months at the start. Smaller groups, people that, if they've been due to come with a larger group, because they've got the time already booked off, they've decided that they'll come up anyway, so within the current restrictions, of course. But it has been a difficult time, and we're hoping that this winter we aren't going to see any more severe restrictions imposed the winter, and come out the other side ready to face a good year going into 2021.
Well, hear to that, and I'm sure what you're saying will resonate strongly with many of the businesses like yourselves around the country who A, look after petrolheads, but B, also of course run businesses, employ people and everything that goes with that. I'm here yet.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've just left the Fat Lamb. Lovely couple of days there. Paul, the host, is a real petrolhead, which is a great bonus when you're a petrolhead yourself. You know you're going to get a special welcome. So we've got a lovely drive now across the North York moors up towards the northeast, and our eventual stop, which is Doxford Hall. So here we are, we've arrived at Doxford Hall in Northumberland. It's a lovely location, really quiet. The roads across from Cumbria have been fabulous, across the North York moors, basically missing out all the main roads apart from a very short spell on the busy A1, which wasn't that busy actually. Tomorrow we're off to the Jim Clark Museum at Duns in Scotland, so about an hour north of here I think. And very shortly I'm going to have a chat with John Allen, who's one of the team here at Doxford, about what makes Doxford Hall a Petrolhead Welcome location and how they've managed during the COVID pandemic.
It's great to be able to welcome classic car enthusiasts back to Doxford. I think what Doxford is a great location for a start. Great roads, quiet, feels like you're out in the countryside. It feels like you've got a really good break for yourself as well, and also a lot of opportunity to drive around the area. Lots of unspelt roads, great beaches, great countryside to go and explore. Why not come and have a look? It's been a challenging environment for everybody. Hospitality has obviously been hit possibly the hardest, as well as the entertainment industry. We have been very flexible and very open with our guests and been able to move people around and cancel and offer refunds without penalty. We haven't hiked any prices up. We've been very open, and the challenge now we have is getting through the next few months and Christmas. It's looking a little bit quiet coming into that period. New restrictions are coming on all the time, so we just have to be aware of those. But we are a COVID secure hotel, and we're happy to be that way. And we've had a great few months with welcoming guests up for their staycations, so hopefully that can continue to the rest of the year.
Masquerade at the Jim Clark Museum in Duns in southern Scotland, right on the border actually with England, near Berwick-upon-Tweed. So we're looking forward to going in very shortly on a time ticket of course, and having a look around. The Jim Clark Motorsport Museum is compact and bijou. I don't mind me saying that. but it's crammed with memories, pictures, videos and trophies, and of course some cars, from one of four-wheel motorsport's greatest heroes. You can easily spend a couple of hours just looking through the trophies and the descriptions behind them. There's also a very moving 20-minute film about Jim's career and life. We had the warmest of welcomes from you and behind the counter, and I have to say that the 2 or 3 hours we spent there really flew by. Next stop is Caffeine and Machine. We've been looking forward to going there. It's been on our website for quite a while now. Not actually had a chance to get there. So we'll tick that box off today and we'll report back later. Well, we're here, 300 miles later, dreadful weather. As you can see, fabulous welcome, loads of cars outside, music, the whole works, no matter how bad the weather is. It was Saturday afternoon about 3 o'clock, and the place was really buzzing. Loads of cars outside, loads of people milling about, looking at cars, chatting, taking photographs. The restaurant was quite busy as well. We found a table, no problem. The place has got some room so you can stay overnight if you like. And they run lots of events, presentations and so forth. In fact, they describe themselves as a restaurant, art gallery and general hangout. That's the end of our trip around the northeast. What have we learned? Well, first of all, the UK is still open for business. So if you've got a car and you enjoy using it, there's no reason to go out and continue to do so. Inevitably there are a few restrictions. Wearing a face mask is a bit of a nuisance. Carrying your suitcase from your car to your room with a face mask on seems a bit extra tiring somehow. It's been interesting talking to the staff. They're all eager that we go out there inevitably because that's their livelihoods. And they were saying that the impact of the test and trace is now starting to be felt because such hypersensitivity in the northeast in particular. There are so many people going for tests that of course the track and trace then alerts people that they should probably isolate, and of course that affects the people working in the hotel. So, and given that quite a few of these people tend to share cars etc to go to work, or they used to do anyway, they're suddenly finding that some of their staff are having to ring in and say, I'm sorry, I can't come to work today. But the knock-on effect is that the hotel is then short-staffed, and of course if it gets to the stage where they're so short-staffed they can't manage at all, they may well have a room full of, sort of hotel full of bookings and not be able to serve the customers. I don't know what happens then, but hopefully the customers would be understanding. We've got one comment about face masks though. A lot of people either choosing or seeming to forget to wear them. It's easily done, I know myself. I got up from the dining table and I'd taken a few steps towards to leave the room before I realised I'd not got my mask on, so I quickly put it on, and I saw other people doing the same thing. But I also saw quite a few people flagrantly ignoring the rules, and when you politely point out to them, oi mate, where's your mask? They either ignore you, pull a rude face, or point to where their mask is on the other side of the room. And sadly, it's people of my age and older. I didn't see any younger people feel like breaking the rules, for want of a better phrase, which is a bit saddening really. It's only by sticking to these rules that we're actually going to go overcome these problems quicker. But c'est la vie. That's not what this video is about. This video is about getting out there and enjoying your car and going visiting glorious parts of the world. We'll publish this route on our blog, and feel free to comment or suggest alternatives or different routes. We love all that stuff. And also, of course, go on and comment and rate the places that you've stayed at. Property owners will love the fact that you've taken the trouble to do that, and and you'll be helping your fellow petrolheads at the same time. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, comment on our website, join our website if you're not already a member. So you're free to join and free to use, and it'll hopefully help you enjoy your car more. Thanks for watching.